Yes, Mataji, give me a second. I'm doing the live streaming.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Vistapitam Yena Bhutale Swamarupa Kadam Mahyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padkamlan Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagalarita Shri Vishakhavitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangini Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sote Devi Brahmani Hari Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuscha Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gauru Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayodi Mudiriye Ishtapayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Seya Taprati Tasoke Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So today I am going to present from Canto 6, Chapter 12. So in this chapter, there are 35 shlokas, and it is about the Vrtasura fight with Indra. And Vrtasura fights with this in the whole chapter. The way it is described, the way it's written, Vrtasura fights with Indra. This is described into 1 to 6 verses. From 7 to 17, it is like how the Indra is encouraging him for fighting. And then Indra praises Vrtasura from verse 18 to 22. And lastly, he kills Vrtasura from 23 to 35. Before starting the description about the Vrtasura, how he died, I found this very interesting, so I just wanted to share with you all. Glories of the Lord. Vandita tatta vidastatvam yajnanam madhipayam brahmeti brahmameti paramameti bhagvaniti shabdiyate. So it says, learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. As I said earlier, there are total 35 verses in it, and the way the whole chapter is divided is like Vrtasura fights with Indra. Vrtasura enlightens and discourages the Indra, and then Indra praises the Vrtasura, and lastly, Indra kills Vrtasura. So, when I was reading this chapter, I found this very interesting. So I just want to share a couple things about the Vrtasura. So it is described that Vrtasura was very gigantic. he expanded his body to an enormous size. And walking across he was like a Himalaya mountain. So when he used to walk, it used to be like that a Himalaya mountain is walking. And he used to crush the land beneath his massive legs. He used to open his mouth so widely that his lower jaw touches the earth while his upper jaw touches high into the sky. He was so huge. He has a serpentine tongue. Inside his carnivorous mouth, his long, broad tongue extended just outward like a giant and like a big serpent. And he displayed terrifying. I mean, when he used to kill somebody, he displays his terrifying death-like teeth that gave him the appearance of an entity capable of swallowing the entire universe at once. With his terrifying physical form, he effortlessly he swallowed Lord Indra along with his giant elephant career Eravat, and just like a huge big python does it. So that's the way huge and big Vrtasura was. So with his the whole summary of this chapter, this is the summarization of this chapter, that despite having his arms severed and weapons shattered by Indra's thunderbolt, Vrtasura fought valiantly with an iron mace and encouraged and embraced Indra to keep fighting, reminding everyone that all outcomes are orchestrated slowly by the Supreme Lord. So even though he was a demon, but still he had a belief in Supreme Lord. Vrtasura assumed a colossal form and swallowed Indra, protected by the Narayan Kavach. Indra was protected by the Narayan Kavach. Indra sliced, and then when Indra was inside his stomach, he sliced his stomach, and lastly he died. So that's the way Vrtasura died. And upon his death, Vrtasura's soul immediately merged into the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a transcendental associate of Lord Sankarsana, and revealing his true nature as an exalted devotee. Now I'm going to read verse by verse of this chapter. This whole chapter is divided basically into two parts, shlokas 1 to 17, and then from 18 to the end till 35. So from verses 1 to 6, it is describing about how the Vrtasura fights with Indra. So from 1 to 3, it is like throws his trident and Indra cuts off his arm. And from 4 to 6, Vrtasura strikes Indra, who then drops his thunderbolt with Vrtasura, encourages him. So from shloka 1 to 6, it is wholly just a description how he's fighting with Indra. And Vrtasura says during his fight that no one except the Lord is victorious. Everything is under the control of Lord. Without the Lord's mercy, there is no creation, and fools think that they are the creator. This he used to understand beautifully. Therefore, be equiposed, have the vision of a liberated person. And lastly, from 16 to 17, see my personal example, he says, and consider this battle as a gambling match. So from verse 1, Sukdev Goswami explained that Vrtasura preferring death in a battle to victory so he could return to Godhead. So this was his motive to fight with King Indra. So he fiercely attacked King Indra with his trident, like Kadamba attacking the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse 2. Roaring with immense anger and exclaiming, O sinful one, thus shall I kill you. The demonic hero hurled his blazing, trailing trident directly at Indra. Verse 3 says, though the weapon flew through the sky like a brilliant meteor, the Indra fearlessly sliced the trident to pieces with his thunderbolt while simultaneously severing one of the Vrtasura's massive arms. Then it was like during his fight, he lost his arm, and enraged Vrtasura struck again Indra and his elephant arrived on the jaw with an iron mace, causing Indra to drop his thunderbolt from his hand. Heavenly beings, demons, giants, and siddhas all praised Vrtasura's heroic feat, yet lamented in distress upon seeing King Indra in such dire danger. So initially, when the fight was started, everybody felt like that King Indra is going to be defeated. So deeply ashamed, last verse, verse 6 says that deeply ashamed and virtually defeated after dropping his sacred weapon right before his enemy, Indra hesitated and dared not pick up the thunderbolt off the ground. Observing Indra's embarrassment, Vrtasura nobly heartedly discouraged his opponent, telling him to pick up his thunderbolt and fight without lamenting this temporary fate. So from verse 7, it's like Vrtasura explains that no living entity, and he used to know that no living entity, whether demigod or demon, is guaranteed permanent victory. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates, maintains, and dissolves the universe, remains forever victorious. So only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always victorious, not the demons, not the nobody's victory is always permanent. All subordinate beings are bound by the material bodies and experience alternating success and defeat based on its supreme divine willpower. So in verse 8, it's described that it illustrates complete dependence. He compares all living beings in the universe, including powerful cosmic rulers, to birds trapped inside a hunter's net. Just like a bird is inside a hunter's net and it's fighting. So that's the way the living beings are. Regardless of their strength or status, they cannot move independently of the Supreme Lord's dynamic direction and the wheel of time. Verse 9. So illusion of false doership. Vrtasura details that our sensory capacity, mental strength, physical power, vitality, and life itself are strictly supervised by the Supreme Being. Unaware of this spiritual reality, foolish people falsely attribute their actions and achievements solely to their own physical bodies. So it's written, the true detachment and peace come from relinquishing false pride, ego, doing one's duty without anxiety over victory or defeat, and recognizing the Super Lord as the ultimate cause of all outcomes. I found this interesting, so I just want to share with you all. This is the verse number 10, and it's written, Yatha daru mayi nari, yatha patro mayo mriga, evam bhutani madhyanshi chantu prani, vidyati bhuk. Oh, it says, oh, King Indra, as a wooden doll that looks like a woman or as an animal made up of grass and leaves, cannot move or dance independently, but depends fully on the person who handles it. All of us dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, the personality of the Godhead. No one is independent. No one is independent. Anybody wants to read this? Ekalishwara Krishna Arasama Bhartaya Yara Aiche Natya Se Taiche Karanitya. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them to do so. We are all servants of Krishna. We have no independence. We are dancing according to the desire of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But out of ignorance and illusion, we think we are independent of the Supreme Will. Therefore, it is said that Ishvara Param Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. So now I am again continuing with the verse 11. So in the verse 11, it says that there are three Purushas. There are three Purushas. Karnodhai Vishnu, Purusas, Karnodhai Vishnu, Garbhodhai Vishnu, and Kishoradhai Vishnu. So the material nature, the total material energy, the false ego, the five material elements, the material senses, the mind, the intelligence, and consciousness cannot create the material manifestation without the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without the direction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse 12. A foolish, senseless person cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although always dependent, he falsely thinks himself the Supreme. If one thinks according to one's previous fruitive actions, one's material body is created by the father and mother, and the same body is annihilated by another agent. As another animal is devoured by a tiger, this is not proper understanding. The Supreme Personality of God Himself creates and devours the living beings through other living beings. Anybody would like, Prabhuji Mataji, would like to read verse 13?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Verse 13. Just as a person not inclined to die must nonetheless give up his longevity, opulence, fame, and everything else at the time of death, so at the appointed time of victory, one can gain all this when the Supreme Lord awards them by His mercy. Shall I read?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So, verse 14, since everything is dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead, one should be equiposed in fame and defamation, victory and defeat, life and death. So, in their effective presentation, in their defects, this is represented as happiness and distress. One should maintain oneself in equilibrium without anxiety, whether it's a happiness or it's a distress. Yeah, Mataji. Sorry, I cut you. Please go ahead and read the next verse, 15. This I found very interesting, so I wanted to share the Sanskrit version of this also.
ओके माताजी. सत्वं रजस्तम इति प्रकृतेर्नात्मनो गुणाः तत्र साक्षिणाम् आत्मानं यो वेद स न बध्यते. One who knows that the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are not qualities of the soul, but qualities of material nature, and who knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities, should be understood to be a liberated person. He is not bound by these qualities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mate. So, verse 16, Vrtasura was so great and powerful that in effect he was acting as the spiritual master of Indra. Although Vrtasura was on the verge of defeat, he was not at all affected by his defeat. He knew that he was going to be defeated by Indra, and he voluntarily accepted that. But since he was supposed to be Indra's enemy, he tried his best to kill Indra. Thus, he performed his duty. One should perform his duty under all circumstances, even though one may know that what the result will be. Verse 17, O my enemy, consider this battle a gambling match in which our lives are the stakes, the arrows are the dice, and the animals acting as carriers are the game board. No one can understand who will be defeated and who will be victorious. It all depends on providence. So far we have, so far it was covered that how the Vrtasura was fighting with Indra, with his mace, with his hands, with all his energies, basically. Now, let's now the next part of the chapter, that is the shloka from 18 to 35. So after fighting with Vrtasura, Indra found that he is really a nice, and he says he's praising Vrtasura from 18 to 20, and he says you are a great devotee and have surmounted the Lord's Maya. Even though you are a demon, but still you are in Shuddha Sattva. And in 22, it is described that devotees swim in the ocean of nectar. So it's written that anybody who is a devotee, they swim in the ocean of nectar. And Indra kills the last part of this chapter. That is, Indra finally kills the Vrtasura. And from 23 to 20, after he spoke with Vrtasura, the fight resumes, and Indra cuts off Vrtasura's other arm with a thunderbolt. 26 to 30 describe Vrtasura resembles a mountain and swallows Indra and the Devtas lament. From 31 to 34, protected by the Narayan Kavach, because he was the Lord, so he was the king. Indra is the king, so he was protected by the Narayan Kavach. So Indra came out of the Vrtasura abdomen because he has a kavach after cutting his head in from the stomach. And finally, in the verse 35, it says that it is described Vrtasura achieved the adobe of Lord, like adobe of Lord Shankar. So, Mataji, would you like to read verse 18 and 20?
I can read.
Sure.
Verse 18, Indra praised Vrtasura. Indra first thought, how can a demon have such devotion, knowledge and detachment? He was surprised and had no smile. Then remembering Prahlad, Bali and others, he thought, Bhakti millions of times greater than mine is possible, even in the demons. His amazement disappeared and he became joyful and smiled. Indra says, you are a perfect devotee, O great demon. I see by your discrimination and endurance in devotional service, despite your dangerous position, that you are a perfect devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul and friend of everyone. 20. He has surmounted this illusory energy of Lord Vishnu, and because of this liberation, you have given up the demonic mentality and have attained the position of an exalted devotee. 21. O Vrtasura, demons are generally conducted by the mode of passion. Therefore, what a great wonder it is that although you are a demon, you have adopted the mentality of a devotee and have fixed your mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, who is always situated in pure goodness. 22. A person fixed in the devotional service of Supreme Lord Hari, the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, What is the use of the water in small ditches?
Yeah. So the verse 22 is very important. That it says that a person fixed in bhakti to the Supreme Lord, Hari, the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of swims in the ocean of nectar. And this is like the verse, one of the verse, which is like I liked a lot. That is, the devotees swim in the ocean of nectar. Let me go to the verse 23. That is the last part of the chapter, from 23 to 35. So again, once Indra praises Vrtasura, and the communication between the fight, it was over. Then one more time, the fight resumes, and Vrtasura and Indra, both powerful fighters, spoke about the devotional service even on the battlefield, again and again fighting dutifully. And then verse 24 says that finally Vrtasura threw his iron club and threw it at the Indra, and with his left hand, And finally, in verse 25, it is described Indra cut to pieces Vrtasura. From 26 to 29, it's like finally how the final phases of the fights, it's been described that Vrtasura started bleeding profusely. His two hands were cut off like a root, looked very beautiful, like a flying mountain whose wings have been cut to pieces by Indra. Vrtasura was very powerful in physical strength and influence. He placed his lower jaw on the ground and his upper jaw in the sky. His mouth was so big, and his mouth became very deep like the sky, and his tongue resembled like a large serpent. With his fearful, death-like teeth, he seemed to be trying to devour the entire universe, thus assuming a gigantic body. The great demon Vrtasura shook even the mountains and began crushing the surface of the earth with his legs, as if he were the Himalayas walking about. He came before Indra and swallowed him and Aravat, his carrier, just as a big python might swallow an elephant. Finally, in verse 30, Vrtasura swallowed the Indra. And when Indra reaches to his stomach, he feels like that he is almost dead. So this is what described in the written in the next verses. So Vrtasura swallows Indra. Seeing this, the Devatas, along with Brahmins and Prajapatis and other sages, became hoarse and cried, "What a calamity!" Because everybody wants to kill the Vrtasura, not the Lord Indra. So in verse 31, it's written that Indra was having the Narayan Kavach. So the protective armor of Narayan, which Indra possessed was identical with Narayana itself. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, protected by that armor and by his own mystic power, King Indra, although swallowed by Vrtasura, didn't die within the demon's belly. So when the Lord Indra was in his abdomen, and so he killed him. He killed him when he was in the when he swallowed him. So the way he killed, with his thunderbolt, King Indra, who was also extremely powerful, pierced through Vrtasura's abdomen and came up. Indra, the killer of demon Bala, and then immediately cut off Vrtasura's skin, which was as high as the peak of a mountain, and Indra cut the head of Vrtasura. Indra took 1 year to cut his head. He was not dead immediately after he swallowed. And then in verse 34, it says that when Vrtasura was killed, everybody, Gandharvas, Siddhas, and heavenly banners beat kettle drums in jubilation. With Vedic hymns, they celebrated the prowess of Indra, Lord Indra, killing the Vrtasura, praising Indra and showering flowers upon him with great pleasure. And the verse 35 is the celebration. How once the Vrtasura was killed. So, any Mataji Prabhuji would like to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
वृतस्य देहान् निष्क्रान्तम् आत्मज्योतिररिन्दम पश्यतां सर्वदेवानाम् अलोकं समपद्यत. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Indra, not Vrtasura, was actually killed. He says that when Vrtasura swallowed King Indra and his carrier, the elephant, he thought, "Now I have killed Indra, and therefore there is no more need of fighting. Now let me return home back to Godhead." Thus, he stopped all his bodily activities and became situated in trance. Taking advantage of the silence of Vrtasura's body, Indra pierced the demon's abdomen, and because of Vrtasura's trance, Indra was able to come out. Now Vrtasura was in Yoga Samadhi. And therefore, although King Indra wanted to cut his throat, the demon's neck was so stiff that Indra's thunderbolt took 360 days to cut it to pieces. Actually, it was the body left by Vrtasura that was cut to pieces by Indra. Vrtasura himself was not killed. In his original consciousness, Vrtasura returned home, back to Godhead, to become an associate of Lord Sankarsana. Here, the word Alokam means the transcendental world Vaikuntha Loka, where Sankarsana eternally resides. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it is the verse 35 is celebration of the Vrtasura. When Vrtasura was killed by Indra. So this is I found interesting with respect to the contrast and experience that on the thunderbolt side, Indra gripped his weapon with trembling hands and moral hesitation, and Vrtasura engages his enemy to strike without fear, viewing the blow as divine mercy. So this was very good about Vrtasura. Then dharma and versus pure love. So Indra follows the formal duty of a king. I mean, that was his dharma. And Vrtasura rises above formal rules into the spontaneous pure love of bhakti. And another thing I found, that is light and shadow. Indra wears the brilliant light of heaven, but harbors the darkness of material anxiety. Vrtasura wears the dark form of a demon, but radiates the inner light of pure realization. And another thing which I found, that is the nature of wealth. Indra values Ashwar, opulence, power, celestial kingdom, and Vrtasura values only Shanti, total surrender to the divine. Finally, the analogies of this, it was like very difficult to find the analogy. So, but somehow I found a couple of them. The heroic deed versus the liberated soul. So Indra is honored by fulfilling his exalted role at the head of the demigods through courage and perseverance. Vrtasura earns immortal glory by demonstrating that true victory lies in surrendering once they go to the divine. This was very good about Vrtasura. And the two hands of divine master. Indra is the Lord's right hand, maintaining order, rightness, and worship across the three worlds. And Vrtasura is the Lord's left hand, demonstrating to the entire world, universe, that true love of God is hidden deep within the heart, beyond outer forms or demonic appearances. So this is. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So this concludes the Canto 6 chapter 12. Vrtasura. Indra kills Vrtasura. Yes, it is Sudha Prabhu. So what is the next?
Yeah, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other questions for Mataji or? So next week we have. Sorry, I just closed it was hanging. My laptop was hanging. Next week we have chapter 13, I think. I think Rasraj, you will be presenting.
No, I am doing it.
You are doing. Thank you.
But again, it's a very small chapter, so we'll be done in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Nothing much. No purport chapters. I mean, hardly any purport chapter actually.
Okay.
We were planning
Thank
for
you.
today itself, but I didn't get time to prepare. Otherwise, we could have completed today.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
One chakalpatarabhyasha. Kripasindhubhyo.
देवचा पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
Hare Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Shri Vasadi.
Mataji, you have to click stop share and you have to click the stop stream because I made you as a co-host. I lost the access.
Oh, so if I exit, it will be stopped by
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. Go to more. Click on that more. You see 3 dots there. You're not seeing. Okay, you close it, then it will be fine.
Yeah, let me end.